Going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. One day, very soon, gonna wake up on the moon. Brand new yacht and a McDonald's in my living room. Bright yellow Lamborghini, 50-meter swimming pool. Champagne every day, hey fam, what you do? Wanna hang, wanna chill? Oh, you got a mansion too? Oh, that's right, held on tight, jack titties every night. We was in way back when they tried to drop it down to 10. And she couldn't comprehend, Ace was strong until the end. Now let's retell it, Citadel they be sweating. Had enough of these felons, but the Ace we rebelling. Cause we never be selling till we send it to heaven. Now we be out here yelling, hey screw you Kenny. Bought my wife a minivan to share with the boyfriend, but I pull up in the Benz, plate saying olive crayons. Going on an airplane, don't think we'll be back again. Celebrating every day like it's your birthday. Screw Kenny cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the Ace won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the Ace won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Today's expectation, probably more manipulation. FUD, a creation of a crooked operation. Bought more while it was low, got more dips than Trader Joe's. Oh, you thought that we'd let go? What the hell you take us for? Holla if you spend your last dollar on bananas while living in squalor. We don't claim to be scholars, we the smooth brain dummies, and we never stood taller. Yeah, we do this for love and we do this for honor. A follower 11 ain't got nothing on us. We the planet of the apes and in MOS we trust. MOASS, oh hell yes. Gonna send it into space, go fire up the jets. Done my DD, call me Elton John, Rocket Man. This is the way, gonna be gorillionaires. Ground control to Major Tom, we about to have liftoff. Call us Neil Armstrong, gonna keep holding on. Screw Kenny cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the Ace won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the Ace won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon.
Moon Gang.
What is going on, everyone? I hope you are having an absolutely phenomenal morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you're at. I hope you're having a good one, and I hope you're ready for, as always, the most exciting, exhilarating finance live stream known to man, at least here in my mom's basement. I am the results are in, the numbers are in. Out of all of the live streams that go on in my mom's basement, at least for the month of October, I did rank number one. So that's some exciting stuff. I don't want to hurt myself by patting myself on the back too much. Like, I don't want to throw my arm out, but month of October, numbers are in, number one live stream, podcast, YouTube presence in the entirety of my mother's basement. So it's going to be an exciting one. Folks, let's get after it. It is Tuesday, November 9th, and man, excitement in the market. It seems like over the past, I don't know, like month or so, there's just been a lot of volatility. And right now, as we were sleeping, BTC, Bitcoin, new all-time high. Loving that. 68,000 and a half. We're pushing that 69 level. Ethereum also tagging a new all-time high, got above 4,800. The markets were coming off of some craziness 2 days ago on Friday, all-time high. Same with the Qs, same with the IWM. A lot of stuff going on. So to give you like a better setup, foundation to get your head right for the day, let's talk about all the major things you need to know. Let's start with the biggest picture. Wall Street looks steady ahead of key inflation data after new highs. So when they're talking about key inflation data, today, they are first talking about the producer price index, and then tomorrow, the consumer price index, PPI, CPI. So this one already actually came out for the one for today, the producer price index. Wholesale prices rise 8.6% year over year in October, tied for highest ever. So I get it. The Federal Reserve, our government, they're going to be like transitory, man. And hey, if they have the ability to completely change what transitory means, well, yeah, it might be transitory. But like, what was the quote from them? Like, to some, it might be transitory. They basically defined it as transitory is applicable if you think that inflation will not be here forever, for like the eternity of whatever the US is. Like, if you think inflation at one point or another will change in the future, then they're calling it transitory. Like, they're literally redefining the word in front of us. And obviously it's just crazy because it's tough to take in what they're saying, if it's real or not, because, Jerome Powell, he's trying to get reelected. He's trying to say the right things. He's trying to push the market higher and higher and higher because they want to keep their job. They want to keep that power. They want to keep that paycheck. And it gets to the point in my mind where I just question, I'm like, okay, do they care about their own self-interest, or do they actually care about the U.S. economy, the global economy? And like in real time, when they're just changing the definition of words, and then you get reports like this, wholesale prices are up 8.6%. I have some other numbers for you. I think coffee's up 100%. Sugar's up 30%. Oil is still above $80 per barrel. The numbers are just all incredibly high. And then don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's transitory. We know what we're talking about. So anyway, tied for highest ever. I don't even know how else to say that. It is what it is. Tomorrow, we're going to learn a little bit more about the consumer price index. And I honestly think part of this is really somewhat what's relating to such a surge in what many people are now viewing an alternative to USD, a store of value. I know there's also the technical cycle of where crypto's at, but when you add in this, people's legitimate, in my eyes, legitimate concerns about what's going on with inflation, I mean, this is no surprise to me that things such as Bitcoin, Ethereum are ripping to a new all-time high. So GE to break up into 3 companies: aviation, healthcare, and energy. I myself am not invested in GE. The reasoning for this is apparently the lackluster performance of the stock, and they think individually these 3 companies could do better in opposed to all being together. So if you're in GE, it is trading higher in pre-market now. People are liking this news, so congratulations to you. Bitcoin hits new all-time highs above 68,000 as cryptos extend rally. Very true. And it's interesting. And one of the things I want to point out about this, obviously we know crypto and we know a lot of people are excited about it, money making opportunity, kind of like an FU to the overall system of what's going on right now. But remember, there is one company that's really going to be benefiting off of this, and that is Coinbase. Coinbase reports after the market closes today, the earnings announcement right after the market closes today. So if you're in Coinbase, if you're paying attention to that, I think it could do actually very, very well. So for those of you watching crypto, watching Coinbase specifically, I did want to just bring this up briefly. Coinbase's Q3 crypto trading volume to be key for investors, analysts say. So remember that we're looking at a previous quarter, and crypto actually kind of took a dip in this last quarter. So a lot of analysts, yes, the quarter we're in right now, Q4, expected to do very, very well. Extraordinarily well. But remember, this is for Q3 that probably ended on September 30th. And crypto was taking a little bit of a break there. So I'm not going into this expecting blowout numbers. I think the quarter we're actively in, when they finally report that one, will be blowout numbers. But more interesting stuff going on here. Coinbase said last week it's testing no-fee trading subscription service for users, which would be discussed more on this quarter's conference call as rivals, including Robinhood, offer commission-free crypto trading. Now, that's particularly interesting because Robinhood is obviously having a rough go of it. This was reported yesterday. Robinhood says millions of customer names and email addresses taken at data breach. I don't get it. I know there's certain names such as Kathy Wood, who's buying more Robinhood. I know certain mainstream media is still very excited about Robinhood. It is an utter dumpster fire. Whatever's going on, I think they're out in California, probably in like the San Francisco, whatever. But Vlad, his team, this is 100% the meme of the dog sitting there, I'm fine, and everything is on fire. So they were sustaining it for the first 2 quarters this year because of the insanity of GameStop and options trading. The next quarter, the insanity of Doge. They made money off of crypto, but then reality came a knocking, folks, and people started to realize, hang on, if they don't have some absurd driver, where's their money coming from? And on top of that, well, yeah, we make some money from payment for order flow, but now the SEC is actively talking about getting rid of that, so it's business models at risk. And then you throw in such as like data breaches, man, oh man. And then even if it can pull off some of the money through crypto, well, now you have Coinbase, who's going to be an active competitor to it, who might be doing its own no free trading. Man, it is. I've said this before and I will reiterate it. My thoughts on Robinhood is bearish, bearish, bearish. Not only from the fact that society seems to hate them, the retail public hates them. It's just also a very poor business model. I don't see the thesis whatsoever why someone would be buying this company. That's obviously my own humble opinion. But more specific to Coinbase, overall analysts are calling for Coinbase to report $1.57 billion in revenues for the third quarter, down from $2.23 billion in the second quarter. Once again, people are less trading. Remember, just crypto took a little bit of a breather. It was not actively moving in Q3. The adjusted earnings per share, $1.73, down from $6.42 second quarter. Once again, it just all relates to how insane was crypto. It's insane right now, but it really wasn't in Q3. And just so you know a little bit, I've previously talked about some people's expectations of where crypto is going to go in the short term. Many people think by the end of this year, Bitcoin will go somewhere between 90 and 100,000. And they think for this particular technical cycle, they're looking at $250,000 relative to Ethereum. Some people have been calling out 7.5 thousand by the end of this year. And for the technical cycle, they're looking at 22-ish, 20,000, somewhere in that realm. Exciting stuff. The total market cap of cryptocurrencies reached near 3 trillion. So that's not just Bitcoin, that's all cryptos. You could check this out on Coin Market Cap. Exciting stuff. As CoinDesk reported, Bitcoin is widely perceived by many investors as a store of value asset like gold, making crypto a haven as worries about inflation increase. I think those are very legitimate worries. I'm not here to call for doomsday. I'm just here to say, hey, maybe we should be a little bit more intelligent about where we store our money. In terms of Ethereum, and specifically Ether, its surge came as reports show that Ethereum network burned more Ether than issued for at least a week after Ethereum's London hard fork upgrade introduced a mechanism to burn a large portion of transaction fees measured in Ether instead of sending them to miners. So right there, we got that first week of it. Ethereum, specifically Ether, it was going up in price because Ethereum actually was showing that it was deflationary for that week there. So let's see how this trend continues. But on top of it, I would strongly argue that a lot of the enthusiasm, particularly for Ethers, because people know that Ethereum is the backbone for a lot of these just utility-based things, such as dApps, really NFTs. NFTs have been going nuts. Last quarter, according to D-Radar or something like that, it was over $10 billion, just the NFT industry. And we know that Ethereum has the first mover advantage and it's very much the juggernaut in that world. So just the amount of money of Ethereum itself and then everything built on top of it, it is absolutely crazy. So Coinbase, as we know, coming out after the market closes today. And then from there, you also have DoorDash. I'm just trying to Fiverr tomorrow, SoFi tomorrow, Opendoor, Affirm, Hut 8. That's another crypto one. Those are the other major ones. I would say that last week and the week before had like some of the bigger names. But hey, just in case you're in any of these, just so you know, all these could be fundamental drivers. Moving on, Roblox surge on rosy results. PayPal sinks on revenue miss. not much more to go in there. Roblox doing well. It seems like people already forgot about the 3 to 4 day outage. PayPal down a little bit, miss on revenue. If you're in those two, I would highly recommend looking into a bit more of the details. Roblox did well. PayPal sinks a little bit, but it wasn't a crazy miss or anything like that. Now let's talk about AMC. AMC posts smaller than expected loss, but CEO says challenges remain. So it's funny. I do find this to be a nice comedic effort, because whenever mainstream media seems to talk about AMC, even if things are going well, they have to throw in like a little jab. And this is a little jab. AMC posts smaller than expected loss, but CEO says challenges remain. It's always that but. It's like, oh, like we're mainstream media, we have to say this, but like, hey, they might be right about something, but we can't give them full credit. So here's what you need to know about AMC. The takeaway is most people were expecting a revenue for Q3, which the report was yesterday. It's on this channel if you want to listen to it. I streamed the whole thing, and then on Kohrs Lite I have the quick wrap up. But the high level thing is basically the expectations were for a loss of 53 cents per share EPS. Instead, the loss was 44, and that's what you call a narrower than expected loss. So that was a beat right there. And then in terms of revenue, many people were expecting a revenue for the quarter of $708 million. Instead, they had 763. So they beat pretty handedly there. Yes, the EBITDA still needs to be improved. This was one of the things that Adam Aron and the leadership team expressed about AMC is we are progressing in the right direction, and we are not just taking baby steps. They are taking sizable steps to where they want to be, but they still have things to do. They are still not at the 2019 levels of whatever you want to call normality of pre-COVID, but they are clearly heading in that direction. So in terms of a trend, things are obviously improving. And on top of that, I don't think we're just going to get back to the 2019 level, because the team at AMC is doing even more exciting things. Obviously, the partnership with the NFL, they're doing concerts, boxing, UFC. There are kind of murmurs of people wanting them to somehow involve a form of gambling, if they could partner up with something like DraftKings or something along those lines. We know that they're rolling out with popcorn. They're talking about cryptocurrencies. They've been reaching out to various Hollywood establishments to sell NFTs potentially. So all of this stuff, I very much like AMC's, the concept of them willing to listen to their investors, be creative, and a lot of this seems to be crypto-centric. Huge fan of it. And how can you not be when I just told you what was going on with crypto and it's ripping to kingdom come? So I think that's exciting. Highlight of all of this, AMC Q3 earnings, they obviously beat. In a little bit, right before the market goes ding, 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 I'll kind of explain it, because when I understand the disconnection there, if you're like saying, wait, Matt, they beat, then why is AMC down in pre-market? I'll be explaining that in 1 second. But I do want to touch on some other kind of just interesting news. So this came out yesterday on Barron's. The Fed says meme stocks pose risks to financial stability. The Federal Reserve said stock market volatility linked to a surge in new investors who share tips on social media and invest in meme stocks could be a risk to the financial system. So my question is, if there's a lot of people in their sweatpants trading on their couch on their phone, how robust of a system is it if we're posing a risk? First question. The Fed said new commission-free trading platforms that offer partial share ownership and flashy graphics have encouraged a generation of young traders to jump into the stock market, and the size of this new group makes it important for regulators to monitor. So one of my, I guess, places where I get a bit confused is the Fed, the Federal Reserve, the SEC, mainstream media. Everyone is so freaking like myopically focused on the graphics of like, oh wow, these graphics are really enticing people to do stuff, and the gamification. And maybe this is just me, but I just don't get that. Like, when have you ever seen a graphic and you're like, man, that was a sick graphic, I need to 10x my bet right now? It seems like there's a bunch of boomers who are looking at that and they're like, oh man, this is like UX and it's enticing people to trade more. I just don't get it. If anything, And I bash on Robinhood all the time. I think other brokerages should take a page out of Robinhood's book and give us a better UI. Make it easier to understand. Make your UX just way better. That's the one part of all of this. And I'm not here to stand up for Robinhood, but I actually applaud them for having a good user interface. Like all these other ones, like when it's a friggin' flying like some fighter jet to just even get used to it, that's not good for the client. And I just feel like the Fed, the SEC, all like the group of boomers here, it blows their mind that something's just so easy to use. And I don't get why they're so focused on that. Focus on legitimate issues. Focus on the extreme amount of off-exchange trading. Focus on the conflicts of interest between brokerages and market makers, not the fact that like, wow, this app was way too easy to use. Like that's so confusing to me. The Fed said financial institutions should consider the potential for increased volatility that the meme stock phenomenon could endanger, and that for more frequent episodes of higher volatility may require further steps to ensure the resilience of the system. Yeah. The resilience of the system, as in like this whole time we've known it's a house of cards, but the fact that the average Joe, what does Marco Otis say? Like average Joe six pack is starting to realize that as well. They're like, shit, we should probably fix it now. That's comical. The resilience of the system. Don't build a house of cards and you wouldn't have to worry about the resilience of said house of cards. Insane. But the story continues. This just came out this morning. EU set to ban trading practice helping power meme stock mania. Like I said, this is hot off the press, the Gutenberg press. The European Commission is planning on payment for order flow, PFOF. PFOF, whatever you want to call it, paralleling potential U.S. moves to stem a practice that hit the headlines during the meme stock mania. A forthcoming review of the Markets in Financial Instruments Directive will include a ban amid other measures to increase transparency, such as a consolidated tape of information about transactions. Am I jealous of my ape brothers and sisters across the pond right now because apparently your regulatory body understands what the hell is going on? Yes, I am very much jealous. Look at this. We're getting rid of payment for order flow, and you're going to find out why in a second. But even these other words, to increase transparency, shut the front door, man. In transparency, that's insane. Why would we give the average retail public more transparency? Like the US is fighting it so hard, and then the EU is like, oh no, that just kind of makes sense. Like that's hilarity. Regulators are concerned that video game-like prompts have encouraged excessive trading on app-based brokerages and fueled an explosive surge in the value of GameStop and other stocks this year. Now, I just wanted to bring this up because once again, it's talking about this video game-like thing. Like, are they using the same writer for this type of bullshit? Seriously. Like, it's just like, like we have problems. It's too easy to use. We don't like that at all. Come on, like whatever. McGuinness, the EU's financial service commissioner, said that payment for order flow may lead to retail orders not being executed on terms most favorable to the client, but instead to the terms most profitable to the brokers. This is exactly what Gary Gensler has said in May of this year. In fact, Gary Gensler, May of this year, in front of some fancy schmancy panel, he said that Robinhood has explicitly gone out of its way to accept higher. They wanted more money, payment for order flow from market makers in return for piss poor execution quality. They literally said, we will give worse execution quality if you pay us more. That's from the SEC commissioner's mouth himself. On top of that, the EU coming down. This is just, I find it particularly frustrating because so many people out there, they think we're the dumb ones. They're like, you don't know what you're talking about. This system's too complex. How could someone who's streaming from their mom's basement possibly understand it? But then all of a sudden, the SEC's looking into it. The EU Commission's looking into it. Like, folks, clearly, mark my words, November 9th, 9:24 in the morning, the apes, when it comes to this particular issue of the extreme nature of off-exchange trading, we are on the right side of history. Not only do you get piss poor execution quality, it hampers price discovery, and it increases the fragility of our overall markets. That's why they're talking about things of, should we be improving the resilience? Yeah, you should. And this is one of the ways to do it, is getting more trades executed on lit exchanges. And just for those of you who want to know a little bit more about the consolidated tape and what's going on there, the European Securities and Markets Authority called for a real-time consolidated tape of information about transactions. That would help increase transparency, overcome Europeans' fragmented trading system, and improve liquidity. Increasing transparency, talking about fragmented systems, what do they mean there? Well, we have about 16 lit exchanges, 40 to 60 dark pools, and 2 highly active market makers. Seems pretty freaking fragmented to me, and it makes it overall complex. And with increasing complexity, you just have, it's easier to run into systemic risks that pose issues to the overall system. And then improve liquidity. That's you're talking about tightening the bid and making it easier to get in and out of positions. Obviously a fan of all of that across the board. So that's kind of your wrap up in the morning of to get yourself ready for the trading day. The market's about to go ding, ding, ding in 5 minutes. I have coin up here just because it's going to report after earnings. Crypto's running higher. I do expect this to, I expect enthusiasm to be seen in coin throughout the day. Lucid up another 4.33%. This thing, I'm still looking at that gap fill up to 56. You have GameStop hanging out at 220. It's up 0.72%. AMC, on the other hand, it had an 8% gain yesterday, closed out right above 45, currently trading at 42.41. So with this and just talking about AMC and how it beat on earnings, and people are like, well, hang on, why is it down? And I think this is just a kind of a psychology thing. So a lot of people are like, well, hang on, we beat earnings because the market closed at 45. Why is it down right now? And that's because I think too many people are focusing on of like, okay, we know the market closed here, then we had positive news. Why would it not go higher? Well, when you have a fundamental driver such as an earnings announcement, they're still saying where, based on what we just heard about the company, what should its market cap be? And they're saying the market cap should be, I don't know, roughly $22-ish billion. And the cart just got put in front of the horse. And I think apes, specifically when you're talking about AMC and GME, it's kind of living in this la land of people are thinking it should exclusively go higher, higher, higher. We rip 8%, we got good news, it should go higher, higher, higher. Folks, I think sometimes we need like a little healthy dose of reality where from October 29th until yesterday, it ran 27% and then it gave back a little bit. We're still up 20%. So I think sometimes that's the whole, like, when in doubt, zoom out, realize what's been going on. Don't be so myopically focused on the fact that we closed at 45, we got good news, and we closed at 42. What if, on the other hand, we did nothing yesterday and it just was kind of flat, or maybe we were closing near 41 and today we just got the exact same gap up to the level we're at right now, 42.50, because of that news. And everyone's like, oh, we're stoked. So I think there's a lot of emotions and psychology going on, and not just the fact that, okay, it ran a considerable percentage. We're talking about a $23 billion company. It gave back $1 billion. But in general, over the past 2 weeks, it's gained many billion. So I would rather take the fact that over a medium to long term, we're trending upward opposed to like a one-day pre-market drop down. I think that's net beneficial to all of our positions because the stock's going higher. It's in the green. It's the overall daily trend that I would argue most of us should care about, not the difference between a close and an open after an absurd run anyway. Just so you know, a little bit of basis of where we're at. They've already borrowed 420,000 shares against it. Estimated short interest on AMC is 16.62%, which puts the utilization at 86%. Shares on loan a hair below 103 million. In terms of GameStop, they've borrowed a net 11.5 thousand against it. Estimated short interest a hair below 10%, coming in at 9.84%. Once again, estimated short interest. Utilization 31, shares on loan 6.9 million. I saw a lot of people, Loopring is still crushing it. Loopring, I mean, I was learning more about it and just what it's doing with kind of decentralized exchanges and how it's upgrade from 3 to 3.6. The transactions went sky high, thousands within a second. Loopring, it's impressive. And with these decentralized exchanges, it makes sense that why it's being discussed so highly now with GameStop and their own NFT marketplace. I saw that quite a few people were just talking about Cardano. Whoa, Cardano on the move right here. I'm in Loopring, I'm in Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano. I'm in all of these. This is, I feel like there has to be some sort of news. Maybe when the market goes ding, 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 I'll quickly try to track down whatever that Cardano news is for everyone. But speaking of going ding, 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 that's what is about to happen. That's what's about to happen. Let's get ready for the day. We have about 10 seconds. And a little excitement in GameStop to get us going. Ding, ding, ding. The casino is open. All right. Loosen. Well, hang on. Now I kind of want to throw up Cardano over here just to see what's going on. All right. With these equities, especially right after an earnings announcement, I like to just wait. Calm, cool, collect, and let's just see how things pan out. I like to wait those first 15, 20, 30 minutes just to see how people are positioning. I like to see what's going on in the options market. Are people getting into calls, puts? Are they bullish? Are they bearish? Just trying to figure out what's going on in that world. Huge Comcast outage in many places in the USA. Yeah, I was getting alerts that like Xfinity is having quite a few problems. Thoughts on Loopring and its connection to GME? I'm in Loopring. I'm in GME. I like them both. I like the partnership. I hope that Loopring is inherently going to be a driver for GME's NFT marketplace. But I'm in both and currently have a nice percentage gain on both. Whenever you're paying for those thumbnails, it's not enough pure gold. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, no. The team in the back end working very, very diligently, putting in a lot of hours to get some of these awesome thumbnails. And hey, it's just, we like the community. We love the community. We are proud of the work we put out there. And especially in the finance world, I mean, so many of the thumbnails, in my opinion, they're just not funny. They're not creative. They're a little lame. It's just, I think sometimes it's those little details that shows like how much you actually care about it. And a lot of these thumbnails, we end up laughing incessantly for quite a while. Brambles, Rumble feed isn't working. Shoot, is that down again? All right, I'll have to figure that out. The reality is they push it down and we push it back. Scott, yeah, I mean, the price is always the equilibrium of buyers and sellers. Yesterday, this was kind of a topic of discussion of just, I think there's that confusion of people think you could just arbitrarily sell into the ether, into the world, and you could buy from it. No, every transaction, there's a counterparty. When you buy, you're buying it off of someone. They're selling it to you. When you sell something, someone else is buying it off of you. These are all just, it's all agreements. It's saying, do you want X amount of shares for price Y? If the answer is yes, the cash goes one way, the stock, the shares go the other way. That's how markets work. It's not like there's a batch of stocks or shares sitting on like one of these venues, like a dark pool or a market maker. Well, market maker is a little bit different, or like a lit exchange. Those are all just venues of where people meet each other. Buyers and sellers meet each other. And that's a very important axiom of the stock market for us to all understand. I'll give you $50 to the first 5 versions of the video pinned to my Twitter using the setup and a punchline premise I've explained in it. 10 months, so out of money, so out of shits to give. Brendan Byrne. So please read slow and clear. I'll give $50 to the first 5 versions of the video pinned to his Twitter. So search Brendan Burns, and I guess there's an opportunity to win $50. And that's all on Twitter, folks. Increased my ADA position by like 4x during that $2 dip phase. Shout out. Congrats. ADA, I mean, we were getting this question yesterday of like, what's going on? Literally, ever since the end of September, It's been doing nothing. For 5 weeks, Cardano has done squat. We got this breakout and then just sideways, but now it's waking up. As soon as it gets above 240, 250, I think we're back to seeing how it messes around in the $3 range. It's been dormant for a while. I just sat on it. I'm just personally a big fan of any of these well-known utility blockchains: Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Algorand, Avalanche, all of those. Big fan, just because I think that's obviously where technology's heading. I think society, culture, all of that technology is clearly going to be an important part of our future. And I think the top ones, like in the top 10, top 15, are all going to be money-making opportunities. How's Roblox looking? Roblox with a nice 32%, like it just beat on earnings. Why is Roblox up right now? We've been actively talking about Roblox on this channel ever since the low 80s, around 82, 84. It took that dip to the 70s, but then it bounced back up. And now, I mean, right there, you'd have already had a 20, 25% gain, depending on when you got in. A lot of this stuff, I mean, there's this weird perception that I'm a day trader. Folks, I rarely day trade. I'm actually not that big of a fan of day trading. My bread and butter setups where I make my most money is actually nice, like multi-week, multi-month swing trades. Roblox is a good example of that, of like, okay, I like the company. I see how it's like borderline addictive to many of the youth, especially in the US. I was like, this seems like it fundamentally, they pulled it off. Like they have a lot of people attracted to this platform, and hey, you get that nice 20, 25% pop. If you think it could go higher and you just like it as a long-term investment, have at it. I think it's a very legitimate long-term investment. But also, if you're happy with like in a couple weeks getting that nice 20% gain, also don't be afraid to lock that in, or lock in a portion and let the other portion ride. Remember, you don't have to get all in or all out at once. But I think RBLX, Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, those are all like that's how I trade. That's where a majority of my trades are. It's odd to me that there's a misconception I'm a day trader. I mean, I have day traded, and once in a while I will, but that's not anywhere close to a high majority of my trades or a high majority of my portfolio. It's just not what I'm way better at these swing trades. Multiple days, multiple weeks, sometimes multiple months. That's where I like excel in the markets. It's just, with day trading, it's the shorter the time frame, there's too much randomness. Like you might be right in your bullish and or bearish thesis, but maybe that one particular day you're trading it, the opposite happens. There's the shorter the time frame, more randomness. And so I like the time frame where I get out of the world of randomness, but it's not so long term that like I'm a little bit bored. Of course, I do have a long term portfolio, but I check on that like once a month. I don't really look into that too often. So where it keeps my attention and the gains are still like something that is exciting, I guess is the best way to put it. That medium term, that's what I like the best. But once again, that's me. I know people who exclusively trade long-term and they make a lot of money. I know people who exclusively trade short-term, and I'm talking short. I know some people who it's long for them to be into something for like more than half an hour. Like that's a long time. All of these methodologies work. You just have to find something that works for your account size and your personality. I'm not here to say one is wrong or right. It's right if it works for you and you're net profitable. A lot of interest in Naked lately. Please check. I'm not a fan of NAKD. How's it looking today? It's a penny stock that only got this explosion because people realized it was shorted, and back in January, anything that was shorted, people bought up. I am not a fan of NAKD. They were borderline bankrupt and they had to get rid of all their brick and mortar stores. If you make some money on it, awesome. But once again, this, even if it weren't a penny stock, which I don't like doing penny stocks, gap ups that go red, that's telling you that the market's not agreeing with it. So I'm not trading NAKD. If you happen to be trading it, I wish you the best of luck, but please adhere to your plan. Don't randomly buy it because it's up 20% and you think it's going to go higher. Have a well-defined plan. What's your risk? What's your reward? Stick to your trading plan. What do I think about Rivian? I think its IPO is going to be very exciting. I'm going to avoid it because I think there's too much excitement. I think it's going to get traded up very rapidly, similar to Coinbase, and then it's going to get hit and it's going to sell off. You never know if insiders are going to sell. I don't know about their vesting period or anything like that, but it's looking to hit the market at a valuation of $65 billion. So that means as soon as it IPOs, it's going to be in the world of like Ford and GM. It's a huge IPO. It's a gigantic IPO. I think they're looking to raise $10 billion with a B. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement. It's just not necessarily like my cup of tea because I don't want to day trade it. And when it first comes out, I think that's going to be the viable play because I don't think a medium to long-term investment is necessarily the smartest play right out of the gate. I just think too much excitement. I think it's going to come in at too high of a valuation. Good morning. I hope everyone makes money today. Thanks, Matt. Hopefully AMC turns around. I mean, it's trading at 41. On the daily chart, we have a fake out breakdown. We have a fake out breakout. We're still in this wedge. It's still in really since June, a consolidation period. Check out this overall wedge. Waiting. Patience is key. That's how I view it. I still have my AMC. I mean, GME's having a great day. Looks like it wants to break out at 225. Cardano having a great day. How is Loopring still doing? 230. I mean, Loopring still crushing it. Would love this to get back above 250. Ethereum. I wanted Cardano to stay up here. Cardano really pushing. Watch 240, 250 on Cardano. I think if it breaks 250, pretty reasonable shot, I would argue, in terms of it retesting $3. Loopring taking a little breather after hitting $2.50. What else do we have? We'll throw up Bitcoin for a second. Bitcoin looking strong. This is the all-time high on it as of now, 68,500, but it looks like it wants to come right back. From a little bit of a technical perspective, watch that trend line. If it gets above this, it's a trend line, so it's a bit dynamic. It depends on when it plays out. But basically, if it gets above 68,100, 200, look for that test and hopefully a break and rip to another new all-time high. What else do we have? Has a lot of swears, so be careful if you play it here. Will do. NAKT is moving. Would you please check it out? Short interest in utilization, please. It's a merger with an EV company, but NAKD is heavily shorted in the past. Wait. NAKD is merging with an EV company? NAKD is like a clothing company, I think. That's a weird merger. I'd have to look into it a bit more. But once again, it's just, I'm not a penny stock trader. There are people who are hyper successful penny stock traders. It's just not my forte. So NAKD doesn't particularly interest me. But once again, I'm not against, if you're in it, I hope you make money. Why would I root against you? It's just, I know what I'm good at trading, and penny stocks do not make that list. And just be careful, like with the gap up that goes red, that's a little suspect to me. Like you want to see that intraday turnaround and for it to go green again. Gap ups that go red, that's telling you that whatever that new price is, the general market is not accepting it. So be a little cautious there. All right. Someone previously asked me about AGC. What is this? A financial conglomerate. So it sounds like a SPAC play. Oh, but I don't know what company they're interested in acquiring, but from a technical perspective, I really like this bend back around. The risk is a little bit wide. You're risking between 1160, 1130, something like that. The risk is a bit wide, but it's looking strong. Look for it to get above 1270, 1290. This thing might be returning to that 1450. I don't know what this company does, but I like the demand that's being shown in it. All right, let's look at NAKD's intraday. Folks, people are not buying this. Like, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm just not seeing buyers. Maybe if it gets back above 88 cents, the narrative on this one can change, but thus far it's sold, got a little bit of a bounce. And now the question is it going to make a higher low or a lower high? So on this, you have to wait. Like, at least that's how I would view it. This right now is the flip of a coin. Above 88 could get interesting, but right now, buyers need to show up. Demand needs to show up. NAKD is struggling to remain on the NASDAQ. Long Island Tea Company did the same thing when it faced a similar problem, changed name to Long Blockchain. I remember Long Island Iced Tea when it did that, and for one day there, it exploded, but it like barely held. Crazy stuff. So just just make sure you stick to your risk on NAKD. Like, it seems a little suspect to me. Tesla selling off, I guess the reality of Elon fighting with the Senate Finance Committee chairman and the tweet about selling 10%. Yada, yada, yada. That is obviously, I guess, coming to be a reality. In terms of, I believe is there a gap? I think there's a gap down here at $900, $909. It might take a bit to get there, but we obviously have a gap fill opportunity. And isn't there another one? Yeah, there's another gap fill right here. So 2 different gaps on Tesla to consider. Hang on, this one's not the correct one. Let me just get these up for you. 115.21 and then 909. 2 different gaps on Tesla that, depending on how the market reacts to Elon and his statements, we might get filled. But don't forget, there's also a gap to the upside at 1208. So eventually, all 3 of these gaps will get filled. We have 2 to the downside, 1 to the upside. I strongly believe, given enough time, all of them will be filled. Since it's done very well, can you comment? Thanks for the show. So on Voyager, that one doesn't trade on a normal market, and you know that because of the 5 letters. If it's trading on something, if the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, something along those lines, it's going to have 4 letters or less. That one with being 5 tells me that it's OTC. So I don't trade that stock, but I like Voyager as an application. I like Voyager, it's great to trade crypto on it. I find the UI, UX, very easy, very intuitive. They are partnered up with Plaid to link your bank account, and sometimes Plaid has issues, but that's a Plaid issue, not really a Voyager issue. All right, what else do we have? What else is? All right, I'll bring up NAKD there. All right, it's trying to fight at 40 or 88, excuse me. That's kind of what I would consider to be the line in the sand. You want some bulls to step up at 88, but I have no NAKD position. I am long on Cardano. I am long on GameStop. I am long on AMC. People are talking about ATER, ATER, the gap up. It's similar to NAKD, the gap up that goes red. These gap ups, when they go red, that's scary because right away you like your mind should be thinking, oh shoot, is this going to gap fill down to 633? So kind of a similar looking chart with ATER and NAKD, both of these on the daily. They gapped up, went red. So my first thought is, oh man, is it going to gap fill day one or is it going to take a bit of time? Can I take a look at fuel cell? Fuel cell. Fuel cell, I mean, it's having a nice push with the new enthusiasm into EV. This one, look at that perfect gap fill. Check this out. When we're talking about gap fills and does it work, this is a completely new stock. The low on June 9th, look at the high yesterday. A literal perfect gap fill. So the play was kind of probably to do that, like ride the momentum back up to there, lock in. Now you do have to be a little bit, mindful, I should say, about the gaps below. You have this high from November, whatever this is, 5th, I guess. And then there's this other one, 929. And then also 806. Those might represent good buying opportunities. I am bullish on fuel cell. I'm more bullish on things like Lucid and Tesla, but those, I mean, I'm just bullish on the EV sector. All right, what else do we have here? They just mad normal people making money. Hey, some context regarding EU. I live in Sweden and I'm barred from trading in America ETFs and options, heavy on regulations, low on choice. Interesting. Thank you for that update. Right now, AMC trading at 41. Let's see if we can create a base here. We know there's support between like 40 and 40.50 on the daily perspective. So let's see if we can catch itself there. Oh, and just so everyone knows, I just want to give you the quick reminder. Usually we do the 9 to 11 show and then the 3 to 4 show. Today, there's going to be no afternoon show because I'll be doing that work with Charles Payne. So I need to drive up to New York. And even this one, the morning show, we're going to have to cut it a little bit early just because of traffic. New York City traffic. So just so everyone knows, today's show will end at 10:30 a.m. in about 40 minutes, and no afternoon show. But because of that, I implore everyone to watch the new Investor Revolution today with Charles Payne making money. It's going to be in the 2 to 3 p.m. hour. It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. Can you take a look at ATAI? Looks a little bit weak to me. Looks like I would personally, I don't know, what is this one? A pharmaceutical. So I probably wouldn't play it because of that. But from a technical perspective, I would consider making a position somewhere between 1350 and 1450, somewhere in this region. Looks like just a little bit heavy. Looks like it's being sold. It has earnings coming up. Looks like November 15th. That's what I would watch on it. But in reality, I wouldn't trade it at all. Don't forget to check your oil. KPLT. We were talking about this in the Discord yesterday. So KPLT, two different gaps to consider. So look at this. The support at $4, the support at $4. Bounce off of that. Refused to do the gap fill at 360. Caught some momentum. And if you get this breakout above 540, 550, then you're kind of talking 650, then you're talking 775, then you're talking the upside gap fill to 930. KPLT, in terms of, it's kind of a difficult setup, and that's just because you have two different gaps. For a while there, I was a little bit more bullish on the top gap just because a lot of people were talking about it, and just anecdotally, I see less people. Rut-row. So I'm still, what's going on here? Hello. Balls. Am I back? Hello. It looks like I'm back on Twitch. But am I back on the YouTube? I think I'm back. Oh, YouTube. What will they do next? Loop ring, Doge 27, Sheep hanging out at 55, Solana 244, Ethereum 48, Bitcoin, Prague still in those mid threes, just seems to be where it's hanging out. Tesla selling today. Oh, Elon. Hey, Matt, can you give us your thoughts about the news of Prague and the new CEO today? So, yes, early this morning, Prague did announce a new CEO. His name is Adi Mohanty, new CEO. Doesn't really seem to be moving the stock a whole heck of a lot. I don't know much about him. I don't know if he's well known, respected in the world of like Prague. Like I don't know much about him, but yes, they do have a new CEO. AMC trying to put in that higher low. That's nice. We see some bulls hopefully stepping up. You're going to want to watch the line in the sand right now is 4170, which is close enough to the previous resistance we know about on the daily chart of 42. What's going on? Is the market just selling today? What's happening? Market's looking a little bit heavy there, folks. A little bit heavy. And even on the daily, this might be kind of the turning point of like, remember some of these things, they arc, they look like a ball. Like when you throw the ball in the air and then you catch it, it speeds and then it slows down and then it speeds up once again. So this is it, an explosive move to the upside, kind of slows down. You might get just, I don't know. If I see a bit more weakness, it does become interesting of gap fill 1, 2, and 3. I don't know when they're going to get filled. I think at some point arbitrary in the future, they will all get filled. Oops. Let me make these a little bit better. But this is what I'm watching. If this goes below... If it goes below 404 or 467, I might get a little bit interested, and then I'd be more aggressive with it below 465 to maybe attempt to make some money off of these gap fills on the S&P 500. The Qs coming in the same, IWM coming in the same. It's all that arc pattern. It's like just a classic. It's gravity, folks. Gravity is a bitch. This is probably related to these numbers. The core producer price index, it's just hot. It's tied with a record. Man, inflation's a real thing. Obviously, people are starting to realize, whoa, everything's expensive. And even though payment is going up, unfortunately, people, their hourly wages, their income is not growing at the same rate of the cost it is to be milk, gasoline, the cost to be a human, rent. Things are pricey right now. Things are obviously pricey right now. LAZR. What is this? Auto parts. Another gap up going red. We're seeing that on ATER and AKD. These gap ups going red, it makes me question what's going on. Like, why are people not liking the new price? Gravity is FUD. Oh, man. You never left me and I'm on YouTube. Oh, thanks, Seth Daddy. I would never leave you, Seth. Thank you, Josh. What is this? Is this TMI's avocado? When was this from? I'll need to check that out. Oh, very quickly, folks, if you haven't, I'd appreciate it if you could destroy that like button. It just helps me with the algorithm. And don't forget to join up with the Moon Gang by hitting the subscribe button. We talk about stocks, options, futures, crypto, everything going on. I rant. I make fun of the government. If that's your cup of tea, this is the place for you to be. Liking, subscribing are completely free. And that's honestly the only type of support I ask for. It just helps get the word of the apes out to more people. All right, AMC 41.15. Let's watch that 41.70. It seems like things are simultaneously all being sold right now. This movement today is not an AMC GME specific thing. The market, like Tesla selling off, the SPY selling off, the Qs are selling off, IWM, like things are selling off right now. This is not specific to the equity that's making your P&L red right now. This is a market-wide risk-off event. Thoughts on BGFV? I have December 17th, $35 calls. BGFV. This one's having a good day. The Big Five Sporting Goods. 35. A Scott. If I were you, I'd continue to ride it. I mean, the relative strength of this is up 7% when everything else is red. Look at the red over here. Everything's red and then this thing's going green. Not only is it a good green day, but on the relative basis, it's pretty strong. Thoughts on AMC? I'm still in it. I'm still long. This, to me, AMC and GME is not, I guess, a normal trade. I believe in the movement. Hence, I just diamond hand it. AMC and GME, I don't treat it like a normal stock. I don't apply my normal stock trading rules to it, my normal crypto trading rules. AMC and GME, my investment into them is my investment into the movement. That's how I view it. So I don't, know if giving like a normal breakdown the way I would of something like BGFV or Tesla or anything like that would really be applicable, because AMC and GME are representative of a fight for market transparency and fairness. And a lot of the times their action like only loosely correlates to what the company's actually doing from a fundamental basis. Check out Ultra Token UOS. Been holding since January. They are a game sharing service like Steam, but built on blockchain. Interesting. That's Ultra Token. And then for Ortex, GME now has an estimated short interest below 10%, and AMC's is around 16.5%. Justin Wright. Sorry, I'm a child sometimes. Hey, happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us. Comcast internet down, hitting Chicago. Interesting. The Spy, what you doing there, partner? What you doing there, partner? All right, I wonder if my money ever hit public. Tesla dipping. Nope, it has not. Hey, brother, I just want to say keep up the good work. I'm wishing both you and Trey a safe trip to New York. Hey, I appreciate that. I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be a blast. Matty boy, you still running? Self-care, my friend. I hate running. I have not run in a while, but I've been doing a lot of cardio on the stair stepper. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've read that in terms of time and effort put in, running is actually one of the least beneficial to your cardio, like your cardio health, your cardiovascular health. Obviously, it's still beneficial, but like I said, for the time put in and the effort, I've been reading that certain things like a stair stepper or like HIIT training is better for like, it's more bang for your buck. So for me, like I said, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm going to believe it's true just because I hate training, running. So like, I'd rather do a stair stepper or more of like a HIIT type workout. All right. So Tesla still coming down. Is Cardano though, hopefully having a good day. Man, a lot of red right now, team. Doge, LRC, Sheeb 55, Matic below $2. It's at $1.84. Ethereum just dropped below 4,800. BTC actually now coming down 1,000 to 67K. Prague at 335. Lucid down 6%. Tesla 7%. GME 1%. AMC 9%. There's a lot of selling going on. Lot of selling. But I want people to think about something this way. If you like something, if you're going to buy the hottest new knickknack and you already know you want that specific thing, well, would you rather buy it at a premium or a discount? Like if you already know you want something because you believe in whatever, for whatever reason you have a bullish thesis, the red days are discount days. If you like AMC, would you rather buy it at $41 where it's at now, or would you rather buy it at $45 where it was yesterday? The markets just gave you a $4 discount. Same with GameStop. Would you rather buy it at $230, $225, or $216? I think people panic, and I get it, because your overall investments, you're losing some of your gains, but you need to rewire your brain to think of red days as buying days. You're shopping on a discount, going on a shopping spree. And your green days, that's the days you kick back and you enjoy it. And I see the opposite happen. I see the red days where people are like pissed off and they're panicked and they don't do anything. And then the green days where things are expensive and things are ripping, that's where everyone gets excited and you buy more. That is not a net beneficial way to think about your account. Green days are the days to sit back with that smile on your face, and the red days are when you deploy your extra capital and you buy things on discount. I think that's a good rule. That's a rule that many professionals have been using forever. It's a rule I've been using now for years. You shop on discount, because if you like something at an expensive price, of course you should like it more at a cheaper price. What are my thoughts on Nublella's Puellas? Never heard of it. XXSSS XXXSSS XXXX. Happy second birthday. Can I get your Matt opinion on Bluebird BIO? Thanks. Bluebird BIO BLUE. Biotech company, down 2% on the day. Oh, earnings sell-off getting cratered. Maybe one of these days it'll start to swing back around, but I wouldn't buy now. You're trying to catch a falling knife. I would wait for my goal is never to bottom tick or top ticket. There's just too much luck involved in that. I would want to be like, oh, okay, I see that there's some sort of mean reversion and maybe you can get a couple percentage points when you finally see, I guess, people buying back in. But this one, they lost a lot. It was 100% surprise and a 40% surprise. The reason this is down is because it like apparently sucked in the last quarter. I would be very, especially with the overall market pressures right now, I probably wouldn't mess around with this one. Lots of selling today. Are you letting your options for this week run? Yeah, so I got some just like as a little lotto play for AMC, like a very, very small position. It doesn't look like they're going to pan out well, but I mean, there's still 3 days left of trading, so maybe I'll get lucky. But that's why I kept it intentionally small, because it was a lotto play. When you know you're doing a lotto bet, that's not when you go like full steam ahead. I mean, it's just the risk reward's not there. AMC always drops when they put earnings out. I don't know if that's particularly true. I don't know the stats on that, but AMC and GME, like, I think people get way too focused and people are acting as if AMC and GME are the only equities in the entire market. Folks, you are seeing a market sell-off. I'm not saying a market crash. I'm not saying doomsday. I'm just saying, look at all the major indices. Look at all these equities. Today is thus far, when we're 35 minutes into the day, a day of selling. Don't get it misconstrued that like AMC and GME are the end all be all. Right now, you see the SPY and IWM, the Russell, selling off. People are taking money out of the system. They're risk off. They're selling. And that's obviously going to have a detrimental impact on AMC, GME individually. Ortex on DraftKings. Yes, I can bring that up. No problem. DKNG. DKNG DraftKings has an estimated short interest of 7.78%, utilization 18, shares on loan 33 mil. DraftKings is not a short squeeze play. Everything is down except, drumroll please, Mrs. Pelosi's Nvidia and gold. LOL, good morning, Matt. It's crazy how my impulsive trading has ceased. Let's go. Dreaming green logistics, that puts a smile on my face. Impulsive trading, yeah, once in a while it's fun and you make that money. But for a trading methodology, given enough actual trades, you're going to probably end up getting burned. All right. What else do we have? Why take away the buy button when you could take away the internet? Oh, that's a good one, Mike. That's a really good one. Man. Thoughts on Cardano? Love Cardano. I'm in Cardano. Big fan of it. Also Solana, Ethereum, any of these strong smart contract utility plays in the crypto sphere. Fan. Matt, what are your thoughts on BBIG now that we know it'll spin off a 10-for-1 for Tide? Spin off 10-for-1. BBIG, it just needed buyers, right? Yeah, BBIG to me looks weak. It has a support breakdown, still looks weak. To me, it looks like this thing might be coming to $4, and if it can't hold $3, it's just, there's no buyers on it. I just don't see any demand being represented on BBIG. And also, this one, BBIG was very like social sentiment driven. I just hear less and less people talking about it, which I find to be a little bit concerning. Could you start making videos about Pelosi's trades? That would be great. Yeah, I could definitely make that like kind of a segment of like the hottest government trades of the week. Like every week, just do a recap or something of all the different political trades. Fed talk today, warning on risk assets, blah, 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 blah. I thought the Fed talk was tomorrow. I might be messing up my 2 individual days, but yeah, the Fed's always going to say their shit. First time in New York? No, I actually used to live in New York. CVM, a biotech stock, what's your opinion? Analyze the graphic. We talked about CVM yesterday, and if I remember properly, I was not impressed with it. Never mind. This one is actually showing strength. You're actually getting kind of a cup and a handle. You would want to see it start pushing 1280, and your risk is pretty concise at 1180. When will dark pools be banned? I highly doubt anytime in the near future. I think people are still, it's very important to see some of the recent updates of what's going on with dark pools, because I think there was a lot of misconceptions of what dark pools are or aren't. There's not many people in positions of power who like care at all about dark pools right now. And I think some people within the ape community still have a misunderstanding of what dark pools are or aren't. It is far more problematic to talk about payment for order flow and how market makers have successfully segmented the entire retail trading public off of lit exchanges. Yes, dark pools are off lit exchanges, but they represent a small percentage of off exchange trading. What represents a large percentage of off exchange trading is market makers, wholesale retailers, internalizers, whatever you want to call them, Citadel Securities, Virtu. They represent a huge percentage of off-exchange trading, while dark pools represent a small percentage of off-exchange trading. I know that there's been misinformation about this community, within this community, that dark pools represent 50 to 60% of trading in AMC and GME. That's just simply not true. It is market makers. Think Citadel Securities, think Virtu, think internalizers, think and a business model that supports that is payment for order flow. Those are like what I would consider, and many people such as Dave Lauer, many people throughout Wall Street, that's the systemic risk. It's the extreme amount of off-exchange trading, which most of is represented by market makers. If someone says dark pool one more time, I swear I'm gonna. I mean, it is important for me to reiterate it, because you never know when new people are coming in and listening, and it's good to get us all on the same page, because accuracy in your words and thoughts is very important, especially when you're trying to successfully get a movement to the next level. Sold AMC covered call yesterday afternoon, bought back for an 85% profit, added more shares. Let's close the gap from last week and be on our way. Hey, congrats, man. Nice trade. Ortex for CWH, please. I don't think it's a squeeze, but odd movement over the last few months, so I'm curious. I don't know even what I would look at in Ortex to discuss like odd movements. That's kind of another thing I'm confused about, is like what these, like I don't get what an odd movement is. It does have a high short interest, 28.6%. But, excuse me, utilization 26%, low, but it's also a low float. Shares on loan 3.54 million. So Camping World Holdings, it does have a high short interest. I don't know much about it, but I would need a little bit of clarification on like what odd movement is. Dark pools don't let the natural price of the stock occur based on supply and demand. That is manipulation. Bend them. I don't quite know what that means. And that's like part of the issue. even with this, I guess, forum, is I know people are limited to a finite amount of characters. So it's inherently tough when you're talking about very complex subjects such as like micro market structure to get out concise thoughts when you're limited to a certain amount of characters. It makes it difficult. Robinhood not letting money transfers in or out. Era says can't find linked accounts. They can't give an explanation. Said a lot of people having the same problem. Also thoughts on ATER. I mean, Robinhood, I don't think there's a reason to be on Robinhood anymore. There isn't. ATR, I'm not a big fan of the gap up going red. I don't know if it's specific to ATR. It's the fact that the whole market's red. It could just be that. But this one, I care more about it when it gets back above 915. But for Robinhood, folks, it's pinned to, oh, it's not pinned to the top of chat. Here, I could pin it. It's so easy to sign up for public. They don't deal with market makers at all. It's free to sign up. On top of that, you get free stock when you sign up, potentially up to $70. So free trading, free stock. There are no options. So if you're an options trader, you're going to want to get on another brokerage such as like Fidelity or TDA. But I just pinned public to the top of like, if you're looking for a solid alternative to Robinhood, at this point in time, I see no reason to get off of Robinhood, to get off of Webull and get to a place that is not doing payment for order flow, is not dealing with market makers, is maybe even you want to go to the extent of intentionally routing your orders to a lit exchange. There's really just not a reason to be on Webull or Robinhood at this point, just knowing what we know of the detrimental aspect of the extreme amount of off-exchange trading. All right, we're seeing some buying. IWM getting a little bit of a pop. AMC, GME. Fidelity's good if you individually route your orders. If you're just simply using Fidelity and not directing your orders, it still sends a majority of its orders to Citadel specifically if you're not directly routing your orders. Fidelity is fine if you route. You need to directly route. You have an option. You pick the lit exchange you want to send it to. If you're not doing that, most of your orders will still go to Citadel, and your options orders on Fidelity are always going to end up at a market maker. It's really hard to do options trading and escaping payment for order flow. That's a tough thing. In fact, it's to the point where I don't know of a brokerage that allows options trading, and that options trading isn't payment for order flow. That's where they make a lot of their money. The percentage gains of options payment for order flow versus equities payment for order flow is vast. I'm sure it's just a sweater, but I keep seeing you wearing a pelt. No, I am wearing a pelt. Robinhood fell victim to a cybersecurity incident. Please change your passwords and monitor for unusual login or banking activity. That's a very good suggestion. When will AMC go to 50 plus? I don't know. And why Citadel and other securities shorting AMC? The issue with saying who's shorting it is, remember, shorts are not reported in 13F filings. We don't know who's shorting it unless they've publicly stated that. There's a big assumption that Citadel, the hedge fund, is shorting AMC. But also, how do we know when it's not? No one's requiring them to report short positions. When you have 13F filings, basically, if you manage over $100 million, you have to file a 13F every quarter where you report your longs, your calls, and your puts, but not your shorts. Shorts are not ever required to be reported on those 13F filings. So that's another thing that I get a little bit confused about, is people are like, oh no, we know Citadel is short. It's like, well, unless you have like insider information to Citadel, how do we know that? And that's one of the weird things that's going on right now, is why are shorts not reported? We know that AMC and GME have a considerable short interest. We just don't know who those shorts actually are. What else do we have? Also thoughts on ATR. We did that. We did that. AMC trading just below 41. GME trading at 214. SPY and IWM bouncing. IWM having a nicer bounce as of now. So let's see, at least on an intraday basis, let's see if we could build up some momentum. Prague is at 347. Prague just loves to hang out at 350. Just kind of premium burn, honestly. Ethereum 4,800. Bitcoin 67.3K. Cardano, where's Cardano at? Cardano hanging out at 230. That's the highest it's been in weeks. So Cardano having some nice momentum, some nice steam. Someone just said the Twitch stream is out. I don't think so. SSR is a circuit breaker event. Saint, that's not correct. SSR doesn't prompt a halt. SSR, short sale restriction, is what happens based on the previous day's close to the next day. If you ever drop 10%, you're instantaneously, like at the moment it happens, put onto SSR. What you need to know about SSR is it stops the dog pile effect. It's referred to as the uptick rule. If an equity is on SSR, as in it from the previous day's close to any point the next day, any point, if it drops 10%, it's put on to SSR, and that stops shorting from occurring, excluding market makers. No one else is allowed to short if it's trending downward. So even if you're on SSR, but you trend upward, well, then you can still take a short. So it doesn't outright stop shorting. It stops shorting when the stock is still going red. It stops the dog pile effect. But even when it's going red, market makers can still short. And that's why you hear these things about being short exempt. SSR market makers are a very, very good example of what short exempt, how it actually plays out in reality. You are on SSR for the remainder of the day that it's triggered and the entire next day. So, for example, I believe AMC is on SSR when it hit 40.26, the low of the day. I think that triggered SSR. So it's on it for today, the all day tomorrow, and it just stops new shorts, excluding market makers, new shorts from dogpiling when it's trending downward. It doesn't protect us as much as people try to act. Way back when in February, when things were crazy, there was like this concept that like friendly whales were driving it down to try to get us on SSR. SSR doesn't protect us from shit, folks. It really, really doesn't. It's a Band-Aid when you have like a gut shot. It's a small little thing. It's bullshit. I would rather just not drop 10%. I don't think SSR really protects us for anything. What else do we have? Hey, Matt, what's your thoughts on RENT? The SPY turning south again. Be careful there, folks. RENT, internet retail. I think it just started trading. It's too new. It's tough to do technicals, and I don't know much about the company. This just isn't enough data points. That's not true, Matt. When you say trending downwards, that is not true. They can short on the uptick. Basically, they can short the ask. I literally said it's called the uptick rule, and that's a downward trend. If you get filled on an uptick, that means that the trend broke. Mike, I've definitely been looking into this. If you hit the uptick, it's an uptick, as in the downward trend stopped. So yes, if it's exclusively going down, the bid is hit, it stops people from shorting in those events. That's why it's called the uptick rule. I mean, you literally said uptick. Like, you put it in there. NAKD, how's that one doing? I know people were talking about it this morning. NAKD, you're still seeing a pattern of lower highs. You'd want to see it get above 84, ideally above 88. Hopefully it can put in a higher low, a new relative high. You just basically want it to turn around. But I personally am a little bit sketched out about NAKD. I'm personally not trading it. If you're feeling lucky, or if you feel like you have some sort of inside track, or the chart matches a pattern you enjoy trading, I truly wish you the best of luck. You're looking very telegenic today. Did your super real girlfriend do your eyebrows, etc.? Please remind viewers 50 AUD, first 5 versions of viral vid formula, 5 emojis, don't do anything apes, typing LFG, even less, and it's Brendan. Brendan Burns with an O. So check out his tweets. Apparently an opportunity to get 50 Australian dollars, which who knows what that's going to convert to these days. Check that out. And also, in coming back to your original thing of what did I do to look telegenic, I just did an extra long scream session in the mirror this morning. Really just let the mirror have it. That's my secret. All right, AMC below 41, trying to bend back around. SPY still looking a bit heavy, but the Russell's IWM is also starting to come heavy again. If you see the 3 major industries, the SPY, the Qs, IWM, you could also throw the Dow in there. If they are all just selling, it's just some very considerable headwinds that individual equities are running into. When Lambo turns back into when Corolla. I am out of focus on YouTube. I think you just need to reload it. On my end, it's looking crisp, painfully crisp, some would say. All right, AMC, it sold off. Now it's flat. Jamie sold off, kind of flat. I think you're kind of just watching the overall indices now. Loopring still strong. Ethereum still strong. Bitcoin hit the high, taking a technical breather right now. Why so many people spreading FUD on Robinhood? It's fine. I don't think so. It just got hacked. There's like one person like awkwardly standing up for Robinhood. People telling lies about Robinhood, I see. I don't know what is like particularly going on, but I don't think it's lies. Like they got hacked. It's a crappy company. They've lied to our face. Comcast chart, big nationwide outages, bought some puts for YOLO play. Is there any more bad news? The main thing I'm hearing is the outage. Comcast. Is it this one? I don't know what the right ticker is. Comcast. Is it? It has to be holding. It has to be this one. That's kind of tough though, because it's already been trending downward. So, I mean, I know right now Xfinity Comcast has been reporting a whole heck of a lot of outages. I don't know how long it'll last. Obviously, the longer it lasts, the worse it'll be for the company. I also don't know the reasoning for why it's out. So that's definitely something to consider in this situation. I just went very big on GOEV, Air Asia Canoe deal. No filing, just YouTube commercial that was posted and then taken down. Earnings Monday, 900 IQ. All right. Well, we're seeing some buyers step in right now. SPY, IWM, getting them buyers. Matt, are you ready to work for Bloomberg and become a hedge funder? I think the past year of my life has ensured I am literally unemployable by like Wall Street, like any of those entities. If they Google me, it's going to be hundreds of hours of me talking shit on hedge funds. Like I'm never going to work there. Like a hedge fund hiring me, it would be, hell would freeze over, folks. They'd be like, hey, who's this applicant? And they would search me and be like, what? Oh, man. And then imagine that. I'm at a hedge fund. Someone walks across and they see my charts with emojis on it. And they're like, good God, what is this? Keep your enemies close, but keep the ducks even closer. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, a lot of people still having issues with Robinhood. The war on Robinhood hurt the movement, in my opinion. I disagree. Perhaps it was the principal move, but when we discourage the use of beginner platforms, we just remove all major entry points for newbies. Prove me wrong. Okay. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Webull, but Webull's still better than Robinhood. Public. So you have Public, Fidelity, TDA. I mean, you don't have to start with Robinhood. Your argument is on the basis that you can only start with Robinhood. And I think that's wrong. I think that's very much wrong. You can easily start on Public. Public is for like new traders, new investors. They hire you for the ape stonk department. Matt, riddle me this. Ortex data for stock shows 100% utilization. Stock goes down and Ortex reports a borrowing increase. How does that work? Because remember, those are dynamic from minute to minute, second to second. If more people are willing to loan their shares out, that number can change like right before you. So yeah, Nick said he started with Fidelity. Yeah, this concept that you have to start with Robinhood. No, I just don't believe in that. There are literally millions of traders out there who just have not started with Robinhood. There's millions of traders who never use Robinhood. What else do we have? Cardano taking a breather at 2:30. Don't forget your headband on C-Pain. Someone just said Robinhood is trash. Prove me wrong. I don't think I would be able to disprove that. Would not be able to. AMC News, no, the news was yesterday about the earnings announcement, which they beat on. All right. Well, it looks like things are turning back around. Like we had a rough first hour, but things are finally turning around. So I honestly think this is a nice positive note to leave all of you with. Things are turning around. Please respect your risk reward. Have a plan. Stick to it. Do not let your emotions into the driver's seat. I have to cut this one a little bit early and check out Making Money with Charles Payne. I will be there today. There is no afternoon stream, but tomorrow everything will return to normal, just so everyone is well aware. Overall, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I'll catch you later today on Charles Payne, and then I'll catch you tomorrow, 9 a.m., bright and early, and then we'll also do Power Hour tomorrow as well. As always, thank you for the support, and from me and Cher, best of luck in the markets.